king with alongside drones. So it's nice to see them being used, in different settings, seeing where they do have their advantages. They're not just a weapon system you can forget about.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, like on TQ, there's a group called Black Legion. They used to fly Munins all the time and just blap blap blap. Now they're kind of flying Ishtars for now. But yeah, you're right. Like it is neat to see RDs and 720s having a place in the tournament. That's one of the coolest things about the tournament is things that work on TQ don't really work too well in the tournament setting, and things that work in the tournament setting don't really work too well on TQ. Like if you ever had like a 5-man gang going out with like a Tinker setup, they get completely trashed on TQ and like low sec. So yeah, it is kind of fun in that regards.
Yeah, we have to remember that this is not actually what TQ PvP looks like, but it's still great. It's a great showcase for pilot skill and the different synergy of comps.
Yes, absolutely.
Compositions that we can see.
It's a great new way to have all these tools we have on Tranquility get used in a different way.
Or used at all in the case of artillery. When you look at artillery on TQ, my first question was, what artillery on TQ? Because yeah, Black Legion was really the last group I remember using those consistently.
Every block love their RT Ruptures.
Yeah.
For sure. As do Gimu, I think, use them quite a bit.
No.
So
there you go.
The next match, we have 2 matches left, and both of them are rather big, should we say?
Yes.
Road Capel versus Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork, and the last match of the day will be Pandemic Legion versus the Gorgon Empire. I think we're all pretty hyped for that match.
Yeah.
But the next match shouldn't be left out. Like we're saving the best to last.
Like Rote Ministry is gonna be a really cool match because they're both teams that do have like good showings before, but again, they're not Hydra, they're not PL. Like Rote known for heavy muting teams, Ministry doing a great showing this year, even if purely just by taking out waffles. And then last year they had a great run as well. I mean, like Ministry, they are a strong, scary team. Rote Capel, very history team, very strong as well. Like I think we've got a very kind of close match in teams that are kind of roughly equally paired. So it should be really, really good, I think.
Yeah, I think it is kind of interesting. I feel like Rote Capel and Footwork are crossing paths in a lot of ways, and that Rote Capel has a much longer history, but they're slowly. They've lost some members, and they're not expected to do as well as they have been in previous tournaments, quite frankly. Footwork is kind of up and coming, so it's an interesting dynamic.
I think Footwork are the second best team at flying Tinkers. Like, I think they're better than Hydra at Tinkers, they're better than Camel at Tinkers. They're second only to PL in terms of Tinkers. But that's sort of their downfall too, because when you see Footwork team, you know they're going to take a Tinker.
Yes, so the bans have been out already, and Road Capel banned the Tengu and the Eos, and Ministry banned the Guardian and the Oneros. Oneros, let's say it all together.
I think that by banning an armor team, they're kind of trying to stop Rote from bringing their kind of signature heavy muting. Because again, if you do bring a Tinker, muting is one of the things that can really, really do a lot of damage to you if you screw up the cap transfers at all. If you've got heavy mutes on the field, you can be in a lot of trouble. So I think that removing armor, mute ships are typically stronger in the armor.
It is a pretty clever way of going about it. Still, I don't know. I don't know whose mind game is stronger here. Is Footwork trying to mind game Rote out of taking newts, or is Rote trying to mind game Footwork into taking a low-key shield Tinker, which is significantly worse?
I think that is pretty obvious that at least that would have that effect on me.
Yeah.
If I'd see those bans come out and I favored Tinkers, that would be the thought that came into my head.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. The Gila still there.
Yeah.
Like both teams just let it slip through. We're going to see a Gila 2 command ship core, guarantee it from someone. Probably Rote's going to take it. And if we're just guessing, I think Footwork will probably take like an armor Tinker team. That's what I expect.
That's what they use to kill waffles. They have that Proteus Stinger with VNIs and EOS.
Yeah.
Really, really strong.
Well, the EOS is gone, but yeah.
Yeah, I really just hope somebody uses a mobile microdrone prep. That's what I'm after. I mean, all of the mind games aside.
That has been another symbol of the winners bracket. Nobody touches them.
Yeah, I know, and I think we need to break that.
They are dangerous.
Somebody needs to step outside the box and say, look, we're here, and we're going to use mobile micro jump
They
reps.
may literally go outside the box, though.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, that was good.
That is the difficulty. We've seen more matches thrown because of these things, though, than any other decisions.
That is true.
But throwing matches is fun. It's good. It's great for the viewer.
Throwing matches is fun.
For us. For us.
Yeah, well, okay, fair.
I enjoy carnage and explosions and decisions that might not seem tactically sound.
Yeah.
Like flying both of your logistics outside the edge of glory.
The game is pretty hard.
It is.
The game is pretty hard.
Yeah.
EVE Online is as
EVE
hard
not
as
for casuals.
yeah. EVE Online is as hard as English. It can be a little hard.
Yeah.
Fair.
But Road Capel, heavy on the new thing. I'm not certain. Maybe it's time for them to surprise everybody and bring something that they've never brought before.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
they're
what I
definitely-
expect them to bring. Like that Gila Sleipnir team, I think it's something that they would have practiced, and I think it's something they would have felt very comfortable with.
And yeah, I mean, hardly anybody's used it at this point, so it would be a bit of a shock.
Yeah, to
But
slide
yeah,
under the radar. with that
that's what
thing.
I mean, I guess, in terms of it being the new Sleipnir Rush. And that it's a comp that you have to understand so well, and you have to fly it so much to understand it, that you get to a point where when something does get banned out, like the Tengu, which was, yeah, definitely don't want to get pushed in the Loki if you feel like that's the trap. It's just the comp that comes to mind. You know, while everybody's hovering over their hangar and says, oh, what should we fly? If you have the Gilas open, they're consistently good. The problem comes down to, can you win the support war? And do you know what you're doing with piloting, like the DPS hulls?
So there's like one sort of like tricky thing when it comes to the bans. You don't have that much time from when you ban to when you get in.
Right.
So like you can't really overthink it too much. You just go with your first gut instinct and then go.
What I can't remember. Can you guys remember what the flagships are for each of these teams? Because that might be something that could come into play.
I'm pretty
again.
sure Road have a Balgorn. That's a safe bet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I don't know what footwork has.
That's something that we should know.
Maybe a rattlesnake. I mean, that's not far from a safe bet with this year's tournament.
But
That would be smart. So smart.
Yeah, we shouldn't be overthinking shit either. So the match is ready, and we're ready to go into the field. So your predictions, please.
I'm gonna go with footwork. They beat Waffles, therefore they can beat anyone. I mean, really.
Yeah, that is true.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm 50-50 on this one. I'm not really confident in either team. I guess I'll go with Rote.
Yeah, I still want to be friends with Bach after this, so I'm going to go Rote.
Yeah. I heard somewhere, or read somewhere on the internet that shortening Road Capel's name into Rote was like shortening, I don't know, the Gorgon Empire's name into the. So I'm going to go with Capel. Let's see what happens.
So, do we have any setups that aren't a tinker?
Oh no, I bombed.
You bombed us. So
I'm sorry, guys.
Welcome back, Space Sports fans. This is CCP Fozzie, joined by a very nervous Bacchanalian, and we have Rote Capel versus Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork. There are Lorenzos on the field, as expected, but they're actually with Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork, not with Rote Capel, as some of our analysts had predicted. Rote Capel, why don't you tell us a bit about this Rote setup, Bacchanalian?
This is an interesting Rote setup. This is actually not what I expected to see from them. They were really discussing the heavy cap warfare stuff, and I guess last minute decided to get away from it. We have two rattlesnakes, a Claymore, Basilisk, Triple Worm, Triple Harpy, Vigil, and Stiletto. So a huge support wing from Rote Capel. Lots of support frigates, but Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork has an answer to that.
Yeah, so they've got double Sleipnir, their autocannon Sleipnir, Scimitar, double Gila, Celestises, triple Heretic for killing those frigates, and triple Molluses. That's a lot of damps as well, and damps are bad for rattlesnakes. So we're going to have to see as the match begins now. Both teams came in at long range from fairly far apart beacons, so they are a long way from each other. And the initial damp war is won by Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork.
Straight away on the rattlesnakes, followed by the Basilisk and Claymore. And target painter going down on the Heretic of Korichkin, thinking that's going to be the first primary.
But then the Vigil gets damped, and now it's gone.
Yeah, immediately gone. So this is, Rokapel came in with 1 point. Maybe they just run in circles and hope they don't lose a ship. I don't
So, yeah, Rokapel is playing it pretty cautiously movement-wise. They're pulling away from the center of the beacon slowly, kind of trying to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, we've got the Ministry of Appropriate Footwork team slowly moving towards the center. So neither team is trying to overcommit here. Both teams are trying to be careful with how they spread out, but they are basically with that kind of formation. It's the Ministry of Appropriate guys moving in, trying to actually get the kills.
I will say, having flown under Tyrus actually in the first New Eden Open, he's very, very conscious about ranges and positioning, and this is exactly kind of what I would expect from him. He's in a setup that relies on projecting damage, but he's facing a lot of damps, so he can't really project that damage. Meanwhile, he's facing a setup that has short range damage, so don't be short range. Let them come to you, let them make a mistake, see what you can bait them into doing, and that seems what they're doing. Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork, meanwhile, just keeping damps on those rattlesnakes. They don't want to deal with those cruise missiles.
So what both teams have done here is they've picked a micro jump unit beacon and decided to hover around that. So they have the option, if they decide to bounce at 100 kilometers in any direction. Of course, since neither of these are the center beacon, it's very easy to go in the wrong direction and bounce out of the arena with these. So they have to be careful. There's no guarantee they're going to use it. The last time we saw two teams do this, it was...
we waited until 10 minutes passed. It was Noir and somebody, and it was just my eye-bleeding match to watch. So
Noir and Scum, I believe. Yeah, and that... I think these two teams are experienced enough to know that that's bad for both of them, really. It's not something that they're going to want to do. It's too unpredictable once you get that deep into sped-up time. So they would prefer to have the match get engaged earlier.
And it looks like some of the footwork team are starting to drift toward the Rokapel team. We have some of the smaller ships coming across that field. So maybe they've decided maybe time to commit. I don't know.
Yeah, they've got some frigs in. The Heretics leading the way. They might try to use those Heretics to blast through some frigs before the Basilisk can wrap.
That's that's a
lots of damps on the
dangerous thing to try to do. I mean, because if the whole Rokapel team is sitting together, those Heretics come into range of those rattlesnakes, and suddenly they're in trouble too. So we'll see what's happening. The Heretic target painted is already getting reps. Just they expect that to happen. So Damp's still on that Vigil. They don't want those target. I mean, immediately the target.
It's smart. The Vigil did, or someone with a painter now is a lock though, because that Heretic is now painted. We don't see any drones dropped by the rattlesnakes yet.
From the Claymore.
There's missiles coming from the Claymore. It is a heavy missile fit, and one Gecko, a lone Gecko, is charging across the field for Rokapel. I have a feeling they haven't gotten the order to send drones in. That guy just sent him in early, and that's going to lose him a Gecko.
Oh, that's bad. What are you doing, guys? Come on.
So yeah, a Gecko is in. It looks like he's coming after one of the Gilas. I don't see where the damage is applying yet, but he now is swarmed with light drones and medium drones.
I mean, the good news is a Gecko will take a long time to die. The bad news is you're not costing footwork anything by giving them that Gecko. He's going to pull it back.
The Gecko's pulling back, and actually now this has kind of triggered the teams to come in a bit closer to each other. Now the Rote team, the Claymore of Tyrus, the captain for Rote, is moving forward. He is well ahead of the rest of his team. He might be trying to get some tackle on an opponent. I'm not sure. The Claymore can pretty easily be used as a heavy tackler.
Yeah, it's definitely a tanky ship. Definitely can do that. It's fairly fast as well.
But then both teams have kind of pulled back after that. So the drones moved across the field, and now the Rote guys are shooting at the Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork drones that are chased after the Gecko.
There's something to shoot at, right?
And and now they're charging in. So we're seeing Cryas in the Heretic for Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork charging across the field. He is swinging around to the other side of Tyrus's Claymore,
and he is now target painted. So it looks like they're going to try to apply some damage here. The drone's going to come out, hopefully.
So aren't drones heading towards him yet? The drones are still heading towards other drones. But Cryas' Heretic he dived in. Looks like he was trying to get a lock on one of these frigs.
Looks like he's taking a tiny bit of damage.
Yeah, took some heavy missile damage, but he's moving too fast for that to do too much to him, I think. They need to get the drones on him. There we go. So now there's augmented warriors and augmented hobgoblins coming after him, and we're going to have to see how well he tanks.
Yeah, this is almost 5 minutes gone. This is one of these matches where you start to wonder if letting this much time go by is going to bite somebody in the butt afterward.
it got way ahead of the Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork team and is now being pounced on. So it looks like Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork got themselves out of position first with that Celestis. He got about like 10 kilometers ahead of the rest of his team.
And the damage coming down. He is webbed. He is nosed now. Looks like he is going to be tackled, held, and the reps aren't keeping up. Maybe Road Pel's going to break
all
through.
These worms. There's a ton of damage in the worms at Harpies, and the Road Harpies were just waiting for a mistake like this. They saw the opening, they saw the Celestis coming in, and they dived on him. It's possible the Celestis might just be basically a sacrificial lamb, though, because now there's
we have Worm taking damage, Fade Delayed. Good to see him back. The Celestis is off the field. First blood for Road Capel. Worm taking some damage, but not substantial. Rorishino is managing to keep reps on him. I'm getting a little excited losing my words here.
The Worm is going at full speed away from the battle now, trying to get some range. So
and now a web on a Heretic of Sirius Logic, so Road Capel going on for their next target. Looks like the match has opened up here. Sakura Nihil now taking shield damage. Let's see if Ruri gets reps on him quickly enough. He's about to go into armor. Yep, there come the reps.
Sleipnirs are now charging in. So now the Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork Sleipnirs have decided to charge into the aid of their Heretic. They're going to be within range to deal damage to these ships soon. Okay, so we'll see what their first primary is.
Worm down for Sakura Nihil, but a Heretic goes with him, so it's a fairly good trade for Road Capel. We'll see what they can turn their damage onto next. Interestingly, there's no damp supply to the Rattlesnakes right now. The only thing damped, in fact, is the Basilisk. So I think they're just trying to shut down the reps and not allow reps. And here we go now. A Harpy going down too.
The Painter on the Sleipnir, that's going to be the new primary.
That's a big problem. It's going to be big damage on him if those Rattlesnakes can start putting damage and pounding on him. So
we're going to have to see what those Sleipnirs deal their damage to now. They're kind of moving across the field, trying to get on top of targets, but they're tackled by the Frigs.
Isn't moving. Caliutres is at 0 MS. It makes me wonder if Caliutres is connected. It's usually a sign of somebody who's not. I mean, just sitting there is really not a good thing. But Acefire is getting reps,
of the formation
taking damage. Yeah, that's really scary for them. The Sleipnir of Acefire taking quite a bit of damage. Meanwhile, they seem to be holding the reps for now. But eventually, you got to imagine the ASB. He's got keeping up. The Scimitar is now webbed. Grim 996 is webbed.
The Grim moved his Scimitar in right up beside the Sleipnir of Acefire. Got him right on top of him. I'm not sure if it was because of the damp pressure or what, but he got right in there and saw the opportunity, switched right onto the Scimitar.
Meanwhile, Lucky CCS just died, but that's not going to matter. Another Worm trading for a Scimitar. It's absolutely the worst thing Footwork could have had happen there.
Great part, like basically stage the match for Road Capel. They managed to take down the Scimitar. They're going to switch right back to Acefire's Sleipnir
take him out. I guess maybe they're just ignoring the Sleipnir that's not moving. So, well, he's not a threat at the moment. Let's take down some of the other ships.
No reason to put some damage into it. It does appear that this Sleipnir is probably disconnected. I mean, he's not.
Local?
He's out of the. He will stay. Let's see here. Yeah, he's way away from the fight. He's not shooting anything.
That's really unfortunate.
It looks like he's still in local, but that may not necessarily mean anything.
Maybe he just froze up with that. Acefire now into armor. He's still boosting with his ASB. Another Worm down on Road Capel, so 3 Worms down, but Sleipnir through armor into structure. ASB boost one more time, but it's not enough.
Is now moving.
There
so
we
maybe
he was listening.
Maybe he logged back in, got his machine working again. But one way or another, it's a bad place for them. The Worms are now down off the field. There's webs on 2 Harpies, but with a Sleipnir Scimitar, Celestis and Heretic down, and now a Gila tackled immediately. Again, great work by these assault frigs for Road Capel, getting webs on the secondaries immediately as soon as the team is ready.
It looks like they have the Basilisk of Rui Hoshino web down and taking quite a bit of damage, so they may actually break through him. It looks like they are going to, but I think it's too little too late. There's a minute 46 left in the match. It's going to be 25 points for Ministry of Footwork. Meanwhile, they're about to lose a Lorenzo. Stormwind Bloodfeather is tackled and through shields now into armor. Ruri's still ASB boosting, so there goes the Lorenzo. And I think Road Capel have this pretty well wrapped up.
If Caliutres there had been here for the whole match, this might have been a much closer match. It could have even gone the other way. This is definitely a team from Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork that, other than the Sleipnir not moving for half the fight, flew it very well. They flew very cautiously. They got their damage onto the targets, but Road also performing extremely well. They managed to get that switch primaries at just the right times. Instead of getting tunnel vision on the Sleipnir base fire, they switched to the Scimitar when they saw it open up, saw a higher priority target. Good target culling and good flying.
Yeah, Road's going to lose another frigate here. It looks like Ripper Tag, the ex-CSM, but that's really not going to matter at this point. They're just cleaning up. 55 seconds left, a substantial lead. That Sleipnir of Caliutres probably going to go down. Maybe not. Not sure it really matters. They're not going to break the 2 Rattlesnakes and a Claymore in the time they have left.
So this is going to be a pretty convincing points victory for Road Capel, and that means they are going to be on to play the winner of our next match, which is Pandemic Legion Gorgon Empire.
That's a scary road still ahead of Road Capel, I'm not going to lie. But 5th Dimension now, Road Capel also going down. So Footwork's still picking off some frigates, but
Yeah, these
20
footwork heretics,
seconds.
obviously, like once
Right.
the Basilisk goes down, there's a lot that they can do. The heretics are a great core for killing frigates. This team is built around being able to apply damage to small targets very effectively. The Gilas, the Sleipnirs, the heretics can all do
Definitely,
it.
and it really made me nervous. I mean, they did the right thing. If they tried to go into the support war, it would have been a really bloody exchange. 3 worms, 3 harpies. You figure they probably take down the heretics, but you lose most of your frigates in the process of doing that. And instead, they opted to pull back, wait for a mistake to happen. Mistakes were made, and Rote Capelle capitalized on them. So the match is over. Congratulations to Rote Capelle. Very well executed, and get a Sleipnir after time.
Yeah, Calatrus's Sleipnir will be reimbursed because it died after time, and Rote Capelle with a victory and will be moving on through the winners bracket.
So
Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork is still in it. They're not eliminated. They're just going to be knocked into elimination brackets.
So we can send it back to Bring Your Son to Work Day.
For day 4, that means that pretty much only the good teams and Test Alliance are left.
Test Alliance, please ignore. Worst of the best. Delicious spaghetti you eat while waiting for a prey to put its shiny paw into his career. So you always let jump, and let the body hit the floor, and that is how the glue bump.
Welcome back to the Bridge of the Hyperion. I hope you guys are ready. I'm super excited. I'm super excited.
Super mega ready.
Super mega ready. All right, let's talk a little bit about this match before we go on. Rote Capelle showed that they are really, really good at posturing, should we say?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the setup they took was so smart. Like it was super, super smart. Really smart setup. Ministry of Inappropriate Footwork. They didn't take a tinker like I assumed they would, and I think if they did take a tinker, they would have won. So like there were some crazy mind games going on in this whole thing. Rote was like, "Oh, you can't take a tinker. Maybe I want you to take a tinker." Oh. But nope. They took a kind of like the setup of the day, I guess. Though Footwork's modifications to the Sleipnir Gila core was actually really nice. They had the Celestis in there and the Molluses in there, and they were doing really good for about 5 minutes of the match. They had a disconnect. I don't think the disconnect played into any part of it. But as soon as the Celestis got out of position, as the commentators pointed out, just the worms just jumped in on him, ripped him apart, and the Celestis, it can't really tank. The Shield Celestis doesn't tank any of that DPS, and it was just all down from there.
And to the point about they were doing well for 5 minutes, there was really no damage that went out for 5 minutes, but there was still a lot going on.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like all the positioning they did, you saw them go to the beacons, which is a pretty dangerous but clever move.
I was so excited. I was so excited.
Yeah, I don't think anyone actually blinked using the beacons, but they could have.
No. Well, and I think you see that a lot with the other higher tier teams, is that it's not necessarily instantaneous action. Most of the teams, I dare say, though you're better qualified for it, they don't like those setups which require them to immediately get right in the middle of everything and commit right off the bat. You do land on grid and have time to discuss it, and these guys are really sharp, and they know their setups, but you still would like a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room, because when you back up, it gives space for the other person to make a mistake, which is something that's been said several times today, and it's exactly what happened there. And it wasn't a tremendous mistake, but it was a losing mistake.
Yeah, so the Rattlesnake team that we saw, it's actually what won the Alliance tournament last year. It's very, very good at punishing when a team gets out of position. So the ones that come in first and start running in first, those worms just go in, hold one down, maybe one slips by, and then it just gets ripped apart.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add to that? That was excellent.
I mean, I just, on the analysis desk, I just kind of sit here and listen to Elise, and I feel like I'm at university and I should be like taking notes, learning. Like it's awesome being right next to you.
It's a good thing that you're learning something here. Son.
I am.
So, next
I'm glad
up,
you brought me to work today.
next up in this roller coaster of a day is Pandemic Legion versus the Gorgon Empire. And I'm going to go straight into the bans. Pandemic Legion banned out the Scimitar and the Merlin, with the Gorgon Empire taking out the Armageddon and Ishtar.
All right.
Okay.
So here we are. Are we going to go through the same grievous experience like last weekend?
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have a heart attack if they do. Like, I don't want to die here. Like, there's a volcano. Don't let me die here, please. Please, no. No, but I don't know. Gorgon Empire banning the Geddon Ishtar. That's sort of interesting. I don't think the Ishtar is all that great, as we saw today, even though it did win some matches. Doesn't really give anything away for the Gorgon Empire side. PL is banning Scimitar Merlin, was it?
Yep.
Okay, that's kind of weird, but whatevs.
Whatever.
We can make it work.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is that a style ban? Is there some inside joke we're not privy to? Or?
They only need one.
Gorgon Empire and Darkside have historically used like damped Merlins, and they're very good ships, but they can just be replaced by like a Kestrel or something, so...
I think they're also competing on an advertisement level. Again, PL has a great history of player advertisements, you know, over several tournaments. Gorgon Empire kind of up and coming in the advertisement scene.
It's pretty creepy,
really creeps me out. Like, I wake up in a cold sweat thinking about a bowl of spaghetti. It's strange. So
I love that advert. I sing along every time.
Right. So
like you saw me singing along. Just
I'm going to watch the match, but then immediately after I'm going to hope to see the ads, and that'll really sell me on how it turned out. I'll let you do the PvP. I'll take care of the spaghetti-related advertising.
That is good. I'm bad with spaghetti.
PL have had a rough road. Like each time they fought someone kind of stronger, and each time they've upped their game to kind of bring it and pull out the win. But it's been so close. It's been so dangerous. And I think that this is the point where it is make or break for PL. If PL screw up, if they hurt themselves as they have before, Darkside combined with Gorgon are the team that can and will punish them horrifically. PL need to bring like their reputation to full bear to win here.
Yeah, I don't think PL will bring a Sleipnir healer team. Like, I don't expect that to happen. I don't necessarily think Gorgon Empire will bring one of those either.
Really?
The Gorgon Empire team, even though healers are here, we're probably going to see a heal up.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's going to be...
Yeah, there's a good chance. It's a great ship.
So yeah, both the Gila and the Rattlesnake are open. So.
And PL have a flagship Rattlesnake, so even if it was banned, they could still bring like a blinged out one.
And all of the components of a Tinker team are also open. So
yeah.
This is a wide open match.
So I think it's
all the more exciting.
Really, really dangerous to bring a Tinker against PL, as their first match showed it. Like, PL invented the entire tactic. They really know how to deconstruct it. They really know how to punish people who bring it. And I don't know, PL haven't really liked Tinkers this year, it seems. Like, they haven't fielded any. I don't think they'll field any today. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
But like in the other bands, we were able to kind of guess what we think would happen. With these bands, this doesn't give anything away.
Yeah.
So you can like rack your head about these bands for 20, 30 minutes, and you won't have any insights on it. So
I do think the Ishtar is interesting though, because we saw even I believe it was last weekend. PL likes to break their comps down into a bunch of cruiser-sized hulls. Like they like bite-sized pieces on the field. So I wonder if, although that Ishtar was Ishtars and
just
PvP,
keep talking. This is
it's
just the water boy.
mesmerizing though. Normally it just spontaneously appears.
yeah, well, Ishtars. It's really neat to note that Ishtars actually got nerfed in between like week 2 and week 3.
Very good. Oh,
Somebody's messing around with the broadcast button.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
They were also mesmerized by the drinks, the magic drinks.
Yes. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Someone's monkeying around with the control board.
No. Look at him go. Look at him go.